Good morning, everybody. It's Charlotte Bailey here, birth and postnatal doula and founder of Birth Warriors. We are people that do what is absolutely needed to honour our body and birth your baby your way. So thank you very much for watching today's Ask the Doula live. I am a little bit tired still this morning. I've had a fantastic weekend working with a beautiful couple, first-time parents to a stunning little now 8-week-old, and I had the absolute pleasure of being with them in their own home for 48 hours and supporting them through their postnatal journey. And really, that's what I want to focus this talk on today, is some of the things that came from that weekend. So just to give you a little bit of background, like many of us, oh look, my dog's come to say hello. Like many of us first-time parents, we feel so bombarded by the enormous amount of information that is available, both through online, we Google like mad, but also through midwives, health visitors, family, friends, and there seems to be so much information and so much conflicting opinions that we did a lot of kind of sifting through that this weekend. So this lovely family were really caring for their babies from a place of instinct. They were instinctively modelling what I would say is an attachment parent style. You could do some reading about that if you're not sure what that is. And really this is where parents will respond absolutely to the needs of the baby. There's a lot of baby wearing, so keeping the baby very close, the belief that the fourth trimester, if you like, exists, and therefore keeping babies close to you really helps them. Exclusively breastfeeding on demand, so not on a feeding schedule. Co-sleeping, occasionally bed sharing, and allowing the baby to really develop his or her own rhythm based on when they want to feed and when they want to sleep and how long for. So the challenge that was really presented was this: my baby only sleeps on me. Is that normal? And that is such a simple question, but it's so packed that in the next 10 minutes I'm going to do my very best just to give my general insights into all of that, okay? So she only sleeps on me. Is my baby normal? And that's an interesting question, isn't it? And we dug a bit deeper, and I found out that some very well-meaningful and loving friends and family had made some comments that were really causing these parents to rethink if their instincts were on point. They had said things like, and I'm sure many of us have heard them, I've heard these things thousands of times, that they were making a rod for their own back, that they would spoil their baby, that they were getting their baby into bad habits, that their baby was manipulating them, and that they should give that baby a bottle of formula and then just leave her alone to cry, which upset the parents a lot. And they didn't feel like that was the appropriate way to go. So we really explored all of that. So first of all, I just want to think, hi Elizabeth, thanks for joining. Think, well, what is normal? My immediate response to that was, if it's normal for your baby, then it's normal. Because it absolutely doesn't matter what Mrs. Jones' baby's next door is doing. It absolutely doesn't matter what your mum did when she was parenting your children, unless she was modelling a style of parenting that you feel really comfortable with. It doesn't matter what other babies are doing. You are a completely unique individual person. So am I. Every human being on the face of this planet has their own unique set of needs, of wants, of desires, and our personalities are incredibly different. Okay? So absolutely, it makes perfect sense that our babies are beautifully unique as well. And it really upsets me when we compare our babies to other people's babies. They are not expected to behave in the same way. They are not robots that are produced in a factory that come out exactly the same. So they will have their own unique needs and they will have their own unique way of communicating them. Some babies are mega placid, really calm. They're no bother at all. They just feed, sleep for ages. You have to wake them up. Great, amazing. Other babies are the other end of the spectrum. They seem to never want to sleep. They seem to never want to be put down. They seem to want to feed constantly. I've seen all babies in between that. I've seen babies that have been sleep trained and have responded really well. I've seen babies that have been sleep trained and haven't responded at all. I've seen a pair of identical twins who've been sleep trained in exactly the same way, and one responded and one absolutely didn't. Hi Fran, thanks for joining in. So the point is that if we can accept where our babies are and accept them for exactly as they are, and concentrate our energies and our focus on catering to the unique needs of our unique child, then that will be a lot easier. It makes the process, the journey, a lot more easy if you can take the element of battling out of it. So basically, the least calm that you can be, the more calm that your baby, if you can be as calm as possible, your baby will be as calm as possible as well, okay? I'm kind of whistling on, and so much I could say, and I'm being really cautious to try and keep it really focused. So, the next point that I want to make is brain development. So we are bipedal mammals. We walk on two legs and we stand upright. And because of the way that our pelvis, therefore, is positioned, and given the fact that we are the most intelligent species on the planet and our brains are the most developed, it means that we can't actually, like other mammals, like elephants or primates or dogs even, is we can't carry our babies to the point where their brains are fully developed, because it would mean that their heads would be too large for us to be able to, one, carry them, and two, birth them. So we birth our babies at a point where their brain is only 1/4 developed in comparison to an adult brain. Okay, so it's 1/4 of an adult's brain. The rest of that development happens extrauterine, so outside of the uterus. This is the thinking behind the fourth trimester, the time when you keep your baby close to you so that the baby can continue to do that growing outside of the womb, but very close to you as if they were still inside. So that said, the part of the brain that the babies are born with cannot manipulate. It cannot create a bad habit because that part of the brain is absolutely only governing needs. That's it. There's no wants, there's no desires, there's no manipulation, there's no preconsidered behaviour, nothing like that. It's only needs. A baby is hungry, a baby is tired, a baby needs emotional comforting, and so that baby will communicate their needs, and that's it. And so learning to self-soothe by letting your baby cry is a total fallacy. It doesn't exist, okay? Learning to self-soothe is governed by a part of the brain that doesn't even grow until a baby is sort of 2 or 3 years old, all right? So this idea that leaving a baby to cry for long periods of time will teach it to settle. There's been lots of research into this. I do encourage you to have a look. Some of the stuff that comes from Dr. Sears, and I also posted something on my page recently about sleep. Have a look at that too. Actually just means that the babies are just shutting down. They're learning that if they cry a lot and intensely, that you're not going to respond, okay? And there's very high levels of stress hormones that have been tested in their saliva. So I wouldn't advocate that, and I didn't advocate that this weekend, that we did any of that. What we did instead, so that's not what we're not going to do, this is what we can do instead. What you can do is absolutely keep your baby close. Continue to trust your instincts as a parent. You do know what to do, you do. And learn to notice those early sleep cues in your baby. So and the first one that you'll notice is that babies tend to go a bit daydreamy. They'll pause and kind of look off into the distance, and their limbs will go loose and nice and relaxed. That's the first sign. You'll usually then get a yawn or maybe two. Really, when a baby's crying and they seem unconsolably crying, that's usually when, in the day specifically, when they're very, very overtired and they're finding it really difficult to unwind. At that point, you just need to do whatever you need to do to get that baby to sleep. Feed your baby to sleep, rock your baby to sleep, hold your baby, carry your baby. It doesn't matter. At that point, sleep is so crucial for them. They just need to go to sleep. However, you can help them, and it's absolutely fine. You're not going to spoil them. You're not going to ruin them. They're not manipulating you, okay? You're just responding to their needs, which is your job as a parent, right? The other thing that you can do is create a really nice, relaxed sleeping environment. Go away, you big smelly beast. And generate some kind of sleep ritual for the baby. So this doesn't have to be a routine. This doesn't have to be by the clock. This is just noticing when your baby is getting tired and then doing the same actions in the same order within a short time frame of about 20 minutes. So that your baby is aware of what's happening in the day and what the patterns is and what your baby can expect. So it could be that you take the baby up into a nice quiet room. It might be the lounge, it might be the bedroom or the nursery, whatever. You change their nappy, you might sing them a little lullaby, give them a feed, and then if they have a special blanket that they are wrapped in, or a baby grow or a cocoon or anything that you're using, you put them in that. And then you want to put them down when they're drowsy but not fully asleep, if you can. If you can't, some babies need a bit of rocking. That's absolutely fine. Remember, as they get a bit older, they're going to be able to really genuinely self-soothe themselves. At this point, you're just helping them understand that it's a calm, safe, relaxed environment and that they can go to sleep confidently because you're there and you're going to be responding to their needs as they communicate them to you. Okay? Some babies will want to feed to sleep. And some babies absolutely need to feed to sleep because they haven't learned how to go to sleep themselves. And that's perfectly normal and it's absolutely fine. Your breast milk contains sleep hormones. It contains oxytocin as well, which has a drowsy effect on the baby. So it's very, very normal for a baby to want to feed to sleep, okay? If you want to help your baby develop some other positive sleep associations because you feel like your baby's just on your boob all the time and you want to get a bit of space or be able to put her down, and I understand that completely, then you can help your baby to develop positive sleep associations by maybe playing exactly the same lullaby every time she gets drowsy, or maybe you play white noise in the background, or you allow her to form an attachment to a little comfort blanket. And I'm going to recommend, there's a really fab book, actually. I did a training program some years ago, and there's a fab book that accompanies it that you can get from Amazon. So I'll put the link in the comments below later. But that is a really good book if you want to help to create a really nice sleep ritual and help generate some positive sleep associations like a comfort blanket. That'll teach you how. Third point I want to make is that daytime sleep and nighttime sleep are different for us and they're different for babies. They're governed by a different part of the brain. So if a baby is only sleeping for 20 minutes at a time during the day, but will sleep for a big 6-hour stretch at night, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with your baby. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong and that the baby is manipulating you because the baby can sleep 6 hours but won't do it during the day. It's that the parts of the brain are different. So your baby hasn't developed enough to be able to sleep perhaps for longer than 20 minutes during the day yet. Or that they're coming into a lighter sleep, they're coming into the lighter part of their sleep cycle in the daytime nap, and they need a bit of help to try and get them back into another sleep cycle. So I just wanted to let you know that different parts of the brain. So if your baby's sleep patterns at night are different to the day, it doesn't matter. It's still normal. I hate that word, but normal. It's still okay. Babies aren't born with a set circadian rhythm yet. They don't really know the difference between day and night themselves. You can help them do that by letting them nap in the day when it is still light. You don't have to use blackout blinds and make it look like nighttime in order that they sleep during the day. If they can sleep in the light during the day and in the dark during the night, that helps to set their circadian rhythms. Also, breastfeeding really helps because the content of melatonin, the sleep hormone, changes throughout the day and into the evening. And so they're getting a bigger boost of melatonin when they're feeding at night, which preps them for a nice big long sleep. At night time, I know when you're feeding in the night, it is so tempting to put the TV on and keep it on mute, or have it down low, or get your phone out and have a quick look at Facebook. Please try and resist it. We know there's so many studies that are coming out now about the impact of the white light that comes from electronic devices and how it impedes sleep in adults. Can you imagine what it would be doing to your baby? Please, please, please try to resist that urge, okay? If you're really bored in the night because you've been up feeding all night and there's no one to talk to, then why not listen to an audio book or put Radio 4 on or something like that, or have a, I don't know, have an actual real book. Can you imagine a real book next to you to have a little thumb through? Please try and avoid electronic devices. And then also just keep your baby close, whether they're sleeping in the day or whether they're sleeping at night. Keep them close to you. They will feel calmer and you'll be able to respond to their needs more quickly, and it will reduce their risk of sudden infant death syndrome, which I'm not going to talk about today. That's a live for another time. The fourth point I want to make is get some help. So, you know, is your partner able to take off some parental leave as well? Can they support you so that during the day, if you're up a lot during the night, you're able to go and get a nap? You're able to get a bit of distance from the baby if your partner's able to hold them for you for a while. Can your mum or your sister or your aunt or your neighbour or your best friend, your mother-in-law, can they come and stay with you for a week or so and just be on hand to do the stuff that that just feels like it's getting on top of you? You know, if you've got a very high needs baby that wants to be held and fed often, which means that you don't have time to take the hoover around, walk the dog, go to the supermarket, whatever, can a family member come and stay with you for a few weeks and do those things for you so that you can be free to parent, to do the biggest job of all? If there's nobody, or the people around you would want to maybe influence you to parent in a way that you wouldn't feel comfortable with, then you might want to consider asking a doula to come and stay with you. Postnatal doula support is amazing. We support you in anything that you want. We don't come with an agenda. We're not going to try and guide you or cajole you into parenting in a certain way. Absolutely not. We're here to support you. We're here to support your baby, and we're here to signpost you to helpful, relevant, evidence-based advice and support. So having a postnatal doula could be a consideration for you. Postnatal support is so important. I cannot reiterate this enough. The more sleep that you can get, the better you feel supported, the more connected you remain feeling, the less risk you'll have of developing postnatal depression, and the increased chance you will have of sustaining breastfeeding. Ultimately, a happy mum means you'll have a happy baby. Oh my goodness, I hate it when I hear people say, oh, well, you know, I'm really tired and I'm really this and I'm really that, but at least I've got a happy baby, right? At least I've got a happy, healthy baby. No, guys, no. Just because you've had a baby doesn't mean you get to completely sacrifice every ounce of self-care that you ever had. No. It's so important that you are looked after so that you can look after your baby. And if you are happy and well, if your well-being is maintained, then your baby will do well as well. You must be thriving in your journey in motherhood. We were never designed to do this alone. So please don't do it alone. And please don't give up every ounce of yourself in order to parent your baby and forget to care for yourself. Please don't do that. Please. So my last point that I want to make is just to manage your expectations. So what I want to say is, that first 24 hours after your baby's born, they're going to feed like crazy, they're going to barely sleep, they're going to be crying, they're going to be really anxious. It's fine, just put them on the breast, keep them there. They're serving a purpose, they're letting your body know that there's a baby now, and they're providing all the stimulus that your breasts need in order to produce the milk that your baby needs to drink. And then also there are little leaps, little developmental leaps that happen around the 8-week mark, 12 weeks, and then another one at 16 weeks, when babies typically will become quite cranky, they'll cry a lot, it will be harder to settle them, they'll want to feed a lot more. Just go with it, roll with it. It's just a really positive sign that your baby is growing and that you're doing fabulously. I'm going to leave you there, my guys. Much love to you all. Let me know if I can help, and I look forward to receiving your questions this week. See you next Tuesday.